David, we've seen a nice retracement of yesterday's weakness with the rand just above 720, almost 725 to the dollar. And of course, we've had those firm commodity prices and of course that World Bank loan for Eskom being approved last night. To what extent do you think that World Bank loan is helping to prop up the currency at this stage?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the World Bank loan, Stephen, on its own would have done much to strengthen the rand. Of course, what it does do is remove one of the short-term negatives around the power concerns to drive the South African economy forward. So from that point of view, one of the negative factors have been taken away, and I guess on the back of the commodity prices and a slightly weaker dollar across the board, the rand has benefited quite remarkably.
Any idea of how that $3.75 billion is going to come into South Africa, if indeed it does get repatriated into South Africa, and would that lead to strength in the rand in that case?
Yeah, normally, deals of this nature, Stephen, don't flow into the currency directly. In fact, over time, there's a slight negative effect as interest payments add up, and of course, those have to be covered in the currency market. So, what generally happens from a process point of view, in any case, is that those funds are generally swapped for the nature of the term of the loan. Rand is generated on the back of those swaps. The rand is spent, and of course, then the forward commitments are covered in the market. So the immediate impact is a neutral one, but the long-term impact is slightly negative, in fact, as the interest payments build up in foreign currency.
Of course, we had one of the Reserve Bank economists, Mondi Mnyandi, the chief economist, in fact, saying this morning that the Reserve Bank would intervene in the market where necessary to help weaken the rand. Of course, we had those golden Forex numbers out, and no evidence really that the Reserve Bank has been buying up dollars, is there?
Well, I think of interest is the fact that the terminology has changed, and of course the official is an economist, and he's not one of the policymakers at the Reserve Bank. But it is interesting that he used the term intervention, because that's something new. But in practice, Stephen, this has not really changed anything at all. The Reserve Bank is active on a very limited basis, mopping up liquidity. That's been going on for years now, since really 2003. And I don't think in practice it's going to make any fundamental difference or change to what the Reserve Bank has been doing for a number of years now.
Of course, we did have gross gold and Forex reserves up by well over $2 billion, but that really just reflecting that international bond that the government sold a month or so ago.
Absolutely, and we mustn't forget that the Reserve Bank also has commitments. So a lot of their foreign exchange purchases will go towards covering those commitments, repaying loans, servicing interest payments, so on and so forth. So the reserves have been gradually increasing over a number of years. We are still at relatively low levels compared to our emerging market peers. And that action will continue, but as I say, it's interesting that he used the word intervention, but in practice I don't see real change coming.
Well, of course, we had good news coming from the World Bank yesterday, but also some fairly mediocre news, and that was the manufacturing data down month on month by 1.5% when it came through yesterday, up year on year by 2.7%, and that was a little bit shy of what the market was expecting. How did you perceive those numbers, David?
Yeah, I didn't really look too much into them, Stephen. I think manufacturing is very, very important, and of course the strong rand is hurting our manufacturing, particularly from an export point of view. And we need some robust or more robust global growth to fuel those exports and to help the manufacturing sector. It's not in great shape. It hasn't been for a number of months now, and it remains problematic. And one of the concerns, of course, is the strong rand.
Well, David, the rand's back below that 730 level against the dollar. It's been bouncing off the 720 level for a number of months now. Do you think we're going to break through 720 at this stage?
I think key to that, Stephen, is continued confidence in the equity market, continued confidence in the commodity markets. If we can have precious metals prices push higher, then in the short term, I think 720 is in sight. We have tested that level twice this week. I think if we get a higher commodity prices and a stable international situation with Greece not playing too much of a negative role, then certainly in the short term, at least we can look at that level again.
David, we have to leave it there. Thanks very much for your time this afternoon.